When you have animals, you have solid poop. And when you have a farm, sometimes you want to throw that solid poop around. And for that, we have the manure category, which was a lonely single category. It was housed by this Abby manure slinger. I like this thing. I really do. It's got a neat little animation when these are running. These things look like they're there to move. It's a neat little piece of equipment. It's great for finishing off a field. It doesn't have the throw of huge manure slingers, but it's decent. It works. I like it. And it gets an award for manure. Happy manure. There you go. We'll be back with our next mod category. After you've planted, you've got to fertilize. This category is fertilizer. And we have 3. One of which is stuck in the ground. So that is one disadvantage. This guy spawns in the ground. We have the DerTebbers. It actually shows up in sprayers, even though it's a fertilizer spreader, which is also a little bit annoying. We have this guy, which is the International, and this, which is the Kenworth. These guys are both mobile fertilizer spreaders. The Gator came out of episode 9, and these 2 trucks came out of episode 38. Let's start with the ProStar International. WOP. Yeah. It's actually going to get a dishonorable. I don't like it. It's got problems all over the place, least of which is the interior, which looks just bad. And you can walk all over it, and you lose some of the definition. It just doesn't really make me happy. The DerTebbers, it makes me happy when it doesn't spawn in the ground, but that's what it does. It loves to spawn into the ground, and that is a problem. I don't like that. It doesn't happen on every map, but it happens on some, and that I don't like. Other than that, it's a pretty decent piece of equipment. I'm going to give it an honorable mention because of that. I like it, and it's a trike, which is kind of cool. But there you go. That's that guy. I'm going to give an outright award to this Kenworth. I mean, this Kenworth is a beautiful piece of equipment. It's well done. I mean, you can even see, engine, interior, gorgeous. Makes you just want to live in here. It's so beautiful. Oh. It has an engine brake, which is always nice. And it's really, really nice. It has a little hitch back here, so you can hook something on the back. I will say its spread is not nearly as much as the ProStar, but that's okay, really. It's much nicer than the ProStar. So there you go. An award to the Kenworth, because darn it, it's a nice truck. A dishonorable mention to the International ProStar because it's not, and an honorable mention to the DerTebbers. DerTebbers, you might have gotten an award if you hadn't spawned in the ground. Just saying. All right, we'll be back with our next mod category. Well, once you've harvested your grains, you need to transport them, right? Well, this is all about trailers that do the transporting, sort of, sometimes. Okay, maybe not completely. All right, we have the Casella grain trailer. Wow, I have like 18 FPS. That's awesome. The Casella frame trailer grain trailer from episode 25. The Timpy Super Hopper from episode 25. The Fliegl TMK trailer from episode 30. We have the the MAN. It says Volvo, but it's a MAN truck. Whatevs. It's a container truck, episode 35, and the trailer from episode 36. No, this came with 35. So this was a one pack, the MAN, the trailer, and the trailer thing. There is actually an attachment that we did in episode 36 that I didn't buy, and it allows you to actually pick up the container and plop it on the trailer, but it isn't integral to anything. We'll just mention that one, which I just did. Haha. See what I did there? I have no idea why my frame rate is absolutely plummeted to a beautiful 19, but we're going to take a guess here. I'm going to start with the container truck. I'm just going to give it a mention. I mean, to be honest, I'm just going to mention it. The problem with container vehicles has always been their limited use. You can drop off your containers by all of your fields, but at the same point, the containers cost as much as a trailer that can hold the same amount, so you might as well just drop a trailer off. So why would we not just go with the trailer? That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to give a mention to the Volvo container trailer truck pack thing. I'm also going to sell them because I think they're causing a frame rate, but we'll find out. And they weren't, but it's one of these three. Okay, so we have the Flygle trailer. They come in multiple colors. We have the Timpe Super Hopper, and we have the Casella. Now, Timpe Super Hopper, yeah, it works, but it doesn't have anything extra to it. I'm going to give it a mention as well, because in the end, the Flygle will do the same work, just doesn't belly dump the way that the Timpe does. I don't think the Timpe adds enough to make it anything more than a mention. So we're going to just mention it and make it go away for a moment. And there we go. As soon as it went away, my frame rate went right back up to 30 FPS, which is what I usually get when recording. There you go. There's another problem with it. That's why it deserves a mention. So that was a mention for the Volvo container rig and a mention for the Timpe Super Hopper. These are the Casella and the Flygle. Now, the Flygle is a set. It's got multiple pieces of equipment, and I really like it for that because you can pick and choose the trailer that best suits you. This is one of the larger ones. You can get a full-on one that hooks up to your semi. You can get one that like this. Well, the rest of them are like this that have front bogies on them, but you can get them in various sizes, and that's great because then you can pick and choose what best fits your farm. The Casella is a nice trailer that you can train together, make a big long train. The one thing to know about it, though, is the weight is cumulative. They've actually done a very good job of modeling the weight of this particular one. In fact, that's why this one takes the award, because when you have two of these stuck together, the Mercedes-Benz tractor actually struggles to pull when they're full because it properly handles the added weight of the grain in both trailers, and I like that. So we're going to give an award to the Casella. We're going to give an honorable mention to the Flygle set. The Timpe Super Hopper gets a mention, as well as the Volvo container pack. All right, we'll be back with another mod category. Now, this season saw us with some interesting mods. Some mods that their usefulness in farming were limited. There is a paving machine. There was Great Dane trailers. There's a couple of forklifts and some bulldozers. Things that you're just like, I don't know. This is another one of those mods, but it actually kind of necessitated its own category. I didn't even buy all the pieces of it. Yeah. This is the Hanomag Flatbed pack. I didn't even start to buy all the bits. It actually comes with the Lindell forklift, which I put in the front loader category because I could use it for other things. But you've got this cool truck with all kinds of things. If I control 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, whatever. So I can really open up my truck, get into the back of this thing. How do I get out now? Oh my goodness. All right. Apparently I need to move the truck. All right. So let's move the truck so I can actually get out and not be inside the back of that other thing. So you got yourself this little truck. You got a trailer to go with it. And then there's tons of pallets. Most of these pallets cost just $1. There's wrapped up equipment. There's boards. There's something. Then there's a lot of beer, which is, always important when you're on the farm. And then they actually have fertilizer, seeds, fuel, and water tanks, so you can actually create your own mobile fueling and servicing equipment if you so desire. It's a really neat idea. It allows you to add things to your game that it might not be necessary for farming, but darn it, isn't it fun to just, after you're done with the harvest, drive up with this truck and unload like a couple pallets of beer and be like, here you go, hired workers. Yeah. I think it's cool. Unloading wood before you actually buy the placeable object that you're going to buy. Things like that to actually create a storyline with your play if you so desire. It's definitely worth checking out. And I'm going to give it an award for the most amazing random mod and an award for the mod with the most bits and pieces attached to it. I can't even buy it. I mean, I could try to buy it all, but seriously, the texturation on the beer causes some serious problems when you do that. So don't buy it all unless you have a strong computer. So there you go, an award for the Hanomag Flatbed Pack. And now we're here with semis. We had several semis. There's one hiding back there. Hider. We had several semis. Starting up with episode 2, where we had the Man TGX that came with the Tie Flander. So we'll be looking at Tie Flander later. It is bouncing and hopping. I don't know why. In episode 12, we had the Iveco Stralis, both in black and white. I just pulled the black one out, but they're identical rigs. We had the Renault Premium 460 in red and white in that same episode. Again, I just pulled the one out. And we had the Scania 143M also in episode 12. And finally, we had this Iveco in episode 12 as well. In episode 26... I'm pretty sure. We had this Renault Magnum DTP, and we also had this Volvo. I'm pretty sure we had this FH16 in episode 26, as well as the... Actually, I take that back. I think it was this N12 and this FH16. Later on, somebody colored it orange. They're identical trucks. Someone colored it orange. And I picked it up because they named it differently. And I was like, oh, it's a different vehicle. And then I started and I was like, oh, no, it's the same thing. So we're not actually, in that case, we're going to ignore this orange one. Because, yes, it would have been the white one here. So we're going to ignore the orange one. So we had the FH16 Volvo, which is backwards to us for reasons I don't know. And this one here. Also in episode 26, we had this Freightliner Heavy Hauler. This is a big truck for hauling a lot of stuff. And then in episode 41, so we got to run all the way back over here, we had this International Transtar 2, which was small truck. Small. All right. First thing, we're going to deal with our dishonorable mention. I'm going to sort of dishonorably mention the change to this, which is that, I mean, I'm not going to actually bust it completely because the model itself isn't bad. It's just the reskin and then not telling you straight up that, hey, this is the identical vehicle in a different color. But this thing is our dishonorable mention because you think, oh, it's not terrible. I mean, the interior's pitch black, but it's not terrible, right? It's not terrible except for, oh my gosh, how badly could you screw up the model of the person driving the vehicle? I mean, oh my goodness. We disappeared there. Yeah, it's bad. Can't even get the model right there. And it doesn't really have much in the way of anything extra. Nothing physically wrong with the model. If you can deal with the guy looking like a alien of some description, it's fine. So that's your dishonorable mention. A mention for the Man. I do have a problem with the Man, aside from the fact it bounces. It actually has some texture issues. It's not a terribly bad truck. I mean, the exterior is pretty good. I don't like the fact that the help has got that thing going on up there. If you look, yeah. And the interior is really nice. I mean, it's a straight rip out of probably Euro truck. But, I mean, it's not super bad other than it loves to bounce. See, if I just press to go, will you stop bouncing? No. But it does have some texturation problems, and I don't think it really, when put up against some of these other vehicles, doesn't really quite make it too honorable. So I'm just going to mention it. Now, when we go over here to this Volvo FH16, inside, the inside looks pretty darn nice. I mean, it is extremely white on white, and you have a seam in your roof, but whatevs, right? Whatevs, except the steering wheel is the problem. Isn't that nice? Isn't that awesome? Yeah, ew. It's not superb. This one, I believe, was identical, or maybe he actually fixed that. Did he fix that? No, he didn't. I didn't think so. That's what clued me in, I think. So they're not dishonorable because they will function. They work. Those two FH16s, they're just a mention. I'm just going to mention that they're there. This guy here, There are a few things I do like about it. The mirrors work, as you can see. They actually physically are working. You have a look back button just by hitting C again, and then the outside. And when you're moving, the little balls flap about. That's the word I'm going to use. The little balls on the whips, the aerials. They actually go back and forth based on the physics of the truck. So it's actually a pretty nice truck. I'm actually going to give it an honorable mention. There's nothing super wrong with it. So, yeah, it's not terrible. Which kind of rolls us right into the... oh, we forgot one more. I forgot a mention. A mention for the Scania. It doesn't really have a lot. I mean, interior-wise, it looks pretty good. Actually, you know what? Let's just make it honorable. Because it's not super bad. Yeah, we'll make it honorable. Honorable mention for the Scania. Honorable mention for the Volvo NL12. Both of those ones are actually pretty decent little pieces of equipment. The Freightliner. Go back and look at our Freightliner here. We get inside, looks rubbish, and experiences some severe frame rate problems. Yeah, that's awesome. That is really awesome. Because I'm not getting that spike when I do this. Let's check. Okay, I am. It's not the truck. I do like that you can put the triaxle down. I think that's pretty cool. So overall, it's not a great truck. It's not a terrible truck. I'm probably going to give it a... Should I give it honorable? Let me check the beacons really quick. Yeah, I'll give it an honorable. Give it a good old honorable mention for the Freightliner. All right. Now, this is where we start getting into some tough decisions early on here. We have the... Actually, let me thin the herd down to our remainders really quick. The herd is thinned to 3. And it reminds me why I originally had the Volvo NL12 listed at a mention instead of an honorable mention. It's actually the problem with frame rates. It has a frame rate hit in it. I don't know why. Can't really... I mean, it's got some texturation things going on. It shouldn't be as bad as it is, but it is actually the cause of frame rate spike drops. So it's going down to a mention. All right, so we have the Iveco Stralis. We have the Renault Premium 460, and we have the International Transstar. Now, let's start with the International Transstar. This guy came late to the game. It's a pretty decent little truck. It doesn't have a nose, which it's got... Well, it does. It has a very small nose, which is a huge thing in flat-bodied trucks like this. Usually you find a nose because you have to put a weight there on the mod itself so it properly balances. But it's a decent little truck. It's got a decent little cab. And it's overall really nice truck. Now, the gauges don't really work, which, you know, whatevs. But the mirrors do. It's actually a pretty cool thing. The mirrors are much clearer than that other one. There we go. Get him closer. So there's that. And it has just a beautiful engine note. I love that engine note. Now these guys, both these trucks have the same thing, where using numpad 4, you can really kit your truck out. Want a bib? Bib addendum? Yep. You want some rig lights? Yeah, you can have those. You want some rolls? Yep, you can have those. With 9, you can have some flaps, which are somewhere. There we go. There's your flaps. Woo. You can have a bar on there. Look at that. So you can really... Bull bar. Let's see. 7 is the rolls. Those are already 8 and 9 and bib addendum. So you can really kit your truck up and make it look personalized. And the best part is, the game will remember it during your play. It will drop it when you log back in, but... Oop, that's the lights. There we go. Oop, and a bib addendum. There we go. So you can really kit your truck up and make it look sort of the way you want. It sort of feels a little bit like ETS2. And so I was stuck. For the longest time, I was like, okay, all three of these trucks. And I'm still stuck. And what I think I'm going to do is give an award to all three of these, because the Iveco and the Renault have such an awesome ability to customize, and that International TranStar, other than the fact that it shows up in undefined category, it's a wonderful looking truck. Interior is nice. It has mirrors built into it. It has a mirror script built in. The engine is superb. It's just a neat little truck. So we're going to give an award to the International TranStar, the Renault 460, both red and white because they're identical trucks, and the Iveco Stralis AS600, both black and white because they are identical trucks. We gave a mention to the MAN TGX, given a mention to the Scania 143M, a mention to the Renault Magnum DTP, a mention to the Volvo FH16, a mention to the Volvo NL12 because it has a frame rate spike down. We'll give an honorable mention to the Freightliner, and a dishonorable mention goes to the Iveco Eurostar with the weird dude inside. All right, there you go. That is semis for you. 3-way winners. Yay! All right, we'll be back with our next mod category.